Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take a test run at this carbide, well, potential carbide catastrophe that I spoke of a couple videos back. I came across a piece of material, piece of carbide that I don't mind sacrificing, and it's actually even got a little bit of information on it here as to possibly what it is. I don't know if it shows up on the camera or not, but it looks like it's C5 carbide. So based on something that DD was saying, that may very well be too hard of a piece of carbide and might be a bad choice simply on that case alone. But at any rate, I got the carbide. This tool holder was compliments of Kimber Zellick, and it just so happens to fit the Cochrane Bly lantern tool post. So I'm going to, well, I should say I made it fit, but at any rate, I should be able to use a combination of these things to set the Cochrane Bly up to operate as a shaper. So I'm going to show you guys now why it is I don't do this very often, because of how much it's going to take to do. But before I actually start manipulating things on the thing, I'm going to take you around and show you a couple of aspects. So with every shaper, you can adjust the length of stroke, right? Well, one of the really funky things about this machine is this is the mechanism that adjusts the length of stroke. There's a little bit larger than a 1/4 inch square here, square recess here that adjusts the length of the stroke. This is a clamping nut or clamping bolt, and hate to turn you guys sideways, but I don't know if you can see the S and the L there. Longer stroke, shorter stroke, as it rotates one way, rotating that way, longer. Rotating this way, shorter strokes. So anyways, I'm going to probably start to get the length of stroke set at least partially before I rotate the head. One of the other things, if I want to use the lifting mechanism, I have to set these guys. Now these are not the originals. I made these out of aluminum. Well, actually, I wonder if I can show you the original ones. No, here's one of the original ones anyways. So it is also supposed to have a screw that goes between this one here and the one that would sit opposite of it. But I negated that or deleted that on this version to make it quicker and simpler and easier. Anyways, the other one is broken. That's why I made these aluminum ones to temporarily, well, temporarily, semi-permanently replace them. So anyways, this is one of the other funky things that has to be adjusted, but it is a nice feature, don't get me wrong. And before I forget, this head also will swivel. So when I get the whole thing rotated 90 degrees and get the ram down to, I don't know if it's considered 0 or 90. Once I get the head down to 0 degrees, then I will get this adjusted. So anyways, number of things to adjust, not the least of which is popping the mill itself, the mill spindle, out of gear. So I'm going to put this into its neutral position, which is right here. So basically it's a forward, neutral, reverse. So anyways, we're starting at about 5 minutes here. So you guys just kind of watch along here. Let's see. I'm going to start off. I just engaged the clutch on the machine. And I'm going to rotate this around so that I can get to a better position on it. Alright, now I'm going to bust this loose. Well, maybe I'm going to bust it loose. Okay, now I want a longer stroke. Don't we all want a longer stroke? And one of these days I got to build a proper T-wrench for this. I'm pretty sure they actually had the correct T-wrench at the auction, but I didn't realize that it went to this machine, so I gave it to the guy who won the South Bend lathe that was there. So, my mistake. Alright. And let's see, I'm going to disengage the mill spindle. Probably don't have the right wrench for that one. Oh, I do. Okay. Alright, that's neutral. Okay. Now, let's test fire it and see what kind of stroke I've got here. Alright, I'm going to go a little longer. I'm not sure what size piece of material I'm going to use. I think I know, but could change my mind at the last minute, so. I'll tell you, the thing that, what they should have done from the factory, they should have put marks on this internal ring here. And maybe they did, maybe somebody has just done something with this to put it in the wrong orientation, or had to make a replacement part or something for it, but there should be measurements or tick marks on that to kind of give you an idea how much stroke you're dialing in. But oh well, it's not the end of the world. There is something there. I can't quite make it out, but there's something in there. At any rate, you guys will soon see why I don't set this thing up as a shaper very much. It's not so bad to do as a slaughter, but definitely a bit more involved to shape with it. There we go. That should be in the ballpark. Okay. Now then, let's get this guy set to 0. And I got 3 nuts to loosen up on this. Drop the knee a little more. Alright. Now, I'm just going to set it to 0 with the marks that are on the machine here. I'm not going to take the time to actually tram it in, because that'll just, add dramatically more time to the procedure. And most likely, if I ever use it for real as a shaper in the future, it's probably going to be short stuff anyways, to where close will be good enough. Of course, virtually everything I do close is kind of good enough anyway. So. Okay, now I'm going to, let's see, Tell you what, I ought to get my lift set up, but let's get it, rotate the whole head now. And there's a big nut over here, and on the opposite side. Oh, two big nuts over here. Oh, I forgot what I was doing. One other thing. I've actually got a worm gear over here. There we go. I forgot about the worm gear to actually rotate the head. Certainly helps. Away she goes. Alright, I think that should be 0. Looks like it is on this side. Tighten these nuts back up. You guys are going to have to remind me, I started out at about 5 minutes, but I'm going to probably forget. Okay. Now, boy oh boy, even at that, yeah, there'll be enough room once I get it all the way out here. That'll be enough room to shape with. Okay, and that is in my lowest speed, and I'm going to change that to 50 strokes. Alright, we'll see how that works out. Anyways, I'm not actually going to do the cutting today, I'm just doing the setup. Okay, so the next thing is I need to rotate this. I don't have the wrench for that. I tried to grab some of these wrenches beforehand so it didn't take a bunch of extra crazy time, but oh well. Now, this, let's just put a level on it. There's a level. Alright, that should be close enough. Alright, now then, let's see about getting the lift mechanism adjusted. Let's see here. Part of the reason that I suspected it had the screw that would expand these things, I suspect, was to make it easier to set these things up, so. I'm going to try and get it to the end of its travel in one direction or the other. Right about there. And okay, that should be good there. Now, into the travel in the other direction. About there. Now this is where it lifts. Now if you watch here, maybe you'll be able to see it doing its lifting once I get this in position. All right. I don't think I'm fully adjusted on another aspect of the lift mechanism just yet. Alright, anyways, that's another thing I'm going to have to figure out is another adjustment for the lift mechanism. But now, I gotta install this guy here, the lantern. Okay. Alright, now I'm pretty sure that once upon a time I had set this up to where it would not lift. And it looks like that's still the case, so I'm going to have to sort that out. Normally I wouldn't have had to. So, for all intents and purposes, this had a piece of material here and a vise. This guy'd be ready to cut. Yep. And unfortunately I'm going to have to shim that also, so that's going to cost me some time there, but at any rate, so from 5 minutes to almost 20 minutes, that's about 15 minutes of setup. So I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera real quick, and I'm going to try and sort out the rest of the lift mechanism, and then I'll bring you guys back if I can get the lift actually operating correctly. Yeah, I don't know if you can really make it out or not, but got just a teeny weeny bit of lift right now. I think I've got a little bit of wear in this pin that's going through the rocking shaft on that. Either that, or I'm a little bit wore out on the bottoms of that cam there, but show you what's going on down here. Anyways, all of that motion is not, or unfortunately not all of that motion is being transferred to this shaft here. Some of it is, but not all of it. Yeah, unfortunately I just don't think it's picking it up on camera. But at any rate, that is the shaper version of the Cochrane Bly set up now. So, with any amount of luck, hopefully tomorrow night I will get around to throwing the shaper vise on the thing, getting a piece of material, getting that piece of carbide up in there, and giving it a test drive. So anyways, I'll catch up with you guys later.